I started my turn by saying sorry to soften the conversation, and because I was not completely new, but pretty new in the company, so not aware about everything. I started with sorry, explaining that, and I totally backfired. So
You ever started a meeting or presentation only to feel disconnected and like you didn't belong? I hear you. And that is why I've invited experts who have been in the same position as you or who've lived through the experience from others. And so they're here to share strategies you can implement today so that you can be influent and affluent in your global working relationships. My name is Leonilda Renaldo, and I'm your host at the Be Fluent Show. I have the pleasure of holding the space for experts and you to be part of this conversation. Subscribe now. Don't miss it. You'll be sorry. And I want you to be fluent. I want you to be successful. See you soon. A bientôt. Here we are with Marinette Dalbard. I had the privilege of working with Marinette in her former position, and now I get to collaborate with Marinette. Thank you, Marinette, for accepting to share your experience, teachable moments on how to make consumer insights simple, human, and powerful. Marinette, this is about how you turn numbers into stories and how professionals, especially non-native English speakers, can make complex ideas clear, impactful, and inspiring. What we'll do with this conversation is draw a parallel between how you make consumer insights human and powerful and how non-native English speakers can draw parallels for themselves. Okay? Marinette, could you start by just telling us who you are?
thank you, Nilda, for the opportunity. I'm Marinette Dalbard. I've been a market research consultant for over 20 years now, helping companies make better, faster decisions through, as you mentioned, clear, human, and actionable insights. My approaches are both robust and innovative. I mainly work with FMCG and lifestyles brand, and I love challenge of turning complexity into clarity, especially under constraint. I mean, tight timeline and tight budget are what I prefer, let's say. And today, as you mentioned, that we used to work together, I must say I'm a little impressed today because I'm used to working on my English with a coach. And today my English coach is the one interviewing me. Yeah, it feels like a fun full cycle moment. But yeah, let's move on and see what we'll do with that.
Absolutely. Yes. This is where we come full circle. I'm saying it's so rewarding, truly. Now, Marinette, thank you for that introduction. I love how you say better, faster decisions. There's a lot to unpack there, but I'm curious now for our listeners, what first sparked your passion for understanding people through data?
Yeah, it was a long, long time ago, as both of my parents work in the research and marketing industry. So that's really something I grew up around, data and storytelling. When I was at school, my first big writing assignment was about describe a day in the life of a relative or family member. And I drew my mom, and we spent time together. She described me how she worked to understand what people really want, even before they do. So, and yeah, super interesting. And as you mentioned, it's about data, but that's really more about human. I'm on the quantitative part, but a lot of my colleagues are on the qualitative. So it's more about, as we are doing today, discussing and collecting their thoughts, their behavior, their expectations, their needs. It's not about selling something, as we can see in marketing most of the time. I'm a step before, so that's really about what do you need, what do you miss, and how can I help you? That's really what what I like. It's about collecting the information, and it's also about the storytelling. And I love to tell story. But I like to give perspective and explain why, and also share my thought and thoughts with others and ask for their feedback and input. And so we co-create together. That's so market research, it really connects those two aspects, and that's what I love. And there is a technical part as well, because you can't bring robust results if you don't build a strong methodology. So there is something technique, but something human. That's kind of science. iPhone is a perfect example. No one was able to say, I need a phone to do everything. That sounds completely crazy. Now we are all using smartphone, but at the really beginning, that was something really new.
That's right. So what you're saying is that Steve Jobs did extensive quantitative marketing research.
Also, he has a strong gut. So.
Now, Marinette, if I understand correctly, the moment you realized that insights can change everything was the moment you saw your parents explaining what marketing research is. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, exactly. And especially because my father was really on the marketing side, while my mother was more on politics. That was so impressive to see how they were able to understand the world, but deeply, not only because they've heard news or because they've read articles, or no, really because they were able to catch a Thai signal based on their work. So that was really passionate.
Do you think that do you have children? And do they also, have you been able to inspire them through that, or are they inspired by what you do?
I have children, 2 daughters, both teens. Passionate, I won't say that because they always see me behind my computer and building great reports on PowerPoint or sharing results, but they don't really catch what we do. And I try to share what bring interest for me through a lot of other examples. It's a kind of research when you see a show or you go to see an exhibition and how people react, or the type of advertising. That's what we share, especially right now with AI and GPTs, and we hear a lot of things about how AI can replace market research because we are able to create synthetic persona. So that's something I discuss with them, because it's not only about market research, but that's really about everything, about how they do their homework, how they search for information about approximately anything else. And I think critical thinking, it's absolutely mandatory. And that's what we discuss together, not really market research, but what it means and the type of thinking you have to use to deliver robust and correct and relevant result of your thinking, and based on the information you collect.
Okay. Now you caught my attention. You spoke about turning pressure, working under pressure, with constraints, to deliver data, fuel. All right, fuel for a product, for a service. So you often work with tight deadlines and constraints. Can you share one story where constraints forced you to be more innovative and it worked out better than expected?
Yeah, there is a lot of examples. That's really inherent to market research, to work with small budgets, timeline, high expectation. High expectation is the most important word. And even if sometimes, because there is really fundamental research, so you need several months to complete this fundamental research, but that's always too long. So you always have to think out of the box and see how you can create different steps and make sure that you'll deliver something in between. AI is really changing the game. So I've heard no later than 1 hour ago, someone talking about synthetic respondent and the fact that a company is able to deliver in 3 hours what will take at least 1 or 2 weeks in standard market research. So that's really something to keep in mind. But for an AI may be a good answer is that something really tactical and you just need a yes or no and you don't need any improvement area, but just, okay, am I going in the right direction or not? But for more complex or strategic question, you still need robustness and consistency. Otherwise, you mess up. So that's where hybrid approaches come in. That's my preferred one, hybrid. So to answer your question, in one project, I mixed traditional qualitative methods, so interviewing a consumer with a specific profile and so on, but also client interviews, so mean people in the company, because internal knowledge is often underestimated. And with all of this, I've leveraged, let's say, tech-driven tools with vocal questioning and LLM and LLM interpretation. So that was really an opportunity to collect a lot more feedback with a lot of deeper understanding. So was deeper, was faster, but not more expensive because of a tool, much more relevant than if we had used traditional research. That's really because of the smart design that we've collected relevant and consistent learnings and not just speed. If you just speed, it's you won't be right.
So it's not just about speed. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah, it's really about smart design, mixing different approaches, keeping in mind that you still have to be robust and build a consistent and relevant approach. So mixing different sources, leveraging tools, but not based on tools only.
Okay. So constraints can be creative fuel, right? Because it forces you to use different approaches to get to your goal. Okay. Right. What's one surprising, counterintuitive insight you discovered in your work that changed the direction of a business or a project?
That's approximately the same background, the same context of the research with really tight budget, timeline was for a beauty brand. The team assumed their audience was Gen Z, so really focusing on Gen Z, but tight timeline, time budget. So we had to interview a broader sample and then focus on because you can leverage different type of tools if you're on a broad audience instead of focusing on the really specific one. But was a chance because the research uncovered a deep emotional bond with older women.
Okay.
We've seen that the product for them was a symbol of confidence and modernity. Maybe because it was supposed to target Gen Z, but at the end, among those women was really about modernity and confidence. And so the insight shifts the brand communication strategy to be more inclusive, not just specifically targeting Gen Z, and empowering because of this confidence driven by the concept. So in terms of outcome was really great news for the brand because they were able to drive greater engagement, broader appeal, not only to Gen Z, but broader audience. And because of this broader audience, unexpected market growth.
That's a happy ending right there.
Definitely. So, that's an important learning because that's not because you don't have time or don't have budget that you should skip market research because in most of the time making the consumer, the customer at the heart for your strategy will bring value in many different ways. But that one was a really great one, I think.
Okay. I can tell that was a highlight for you. Is it right that companies, I mean, we can't generalize, but is it right to say that companies take a shortcut into doing that research, that necessary marketing research? Do they take a shortcut? Do they use tactics instead of really going deep underneath and finding out what it is that clients need. Is that right?
Really depend also on company culture,
Why
sector.
is that? Why do we want to skip that step, in
Yeah,
your
that's
opinion?
a good question. That's really market research is really linked to marketing. A lot of marketing people think they're able to do research because they had an introduction somewhere in their school courses, let's say. A lot of people think that market research is super easy. Oh, okay, I can build a questionnaire. I use Google Form, or I don't know, there is so many SurveyMonkey or whatever. I can even now ask to GPTs, okay, what should I think about that? And you'll bring an answer. So yeah, it seems super easy. And that's super easy to collect data, to find information, to bring an answer. But that's really more difficult to understand that's not the proper answer. Or yeah, and I'm just thinking because I'm writing a series of article about about research ROI, and if you can bring value, and that's not always about turning this into a turnover, but most of the time that's also avoiding errors, not only driving the right decision, but also avoiding bad decision. But if you don't take this bad decision, you don't know you
don't learn. Exactly. So at the end of the day, you have to make the decisions to learn from it. Yes.
I think that's the main problem because yeah, there is a lot of teams, sales team are in contact with customer, with clients. You think you have the information. You don't realize that the focus is always on what you're doing. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, okay, no, but I'm sure their preferred color is blue because my wife prefer blue." Okay, but your wife is not the, the entire population, right? That's something we hear really often. You know, a lot of people think they have the answer already. That's why market research has always to explain, and that's different across countries. In France, we are really picky, and okay, I need to understand deeply the sample. So the people we've interviewed, are we representative? That's a question. Sometimes you don't need to be representative, depending on what you're searching for. So yeah, there is a lot of
Preconceived ideas.
preconceived ideas about market research. And that's what we have to fight against.
And if there's one thing you could share with our audience today about those preconceived ideas, what would it be?
I would love to have a simple answer to this question, but that's really about critical thinking and the fact that you can think you have the right answer because you have one answer, and just always challenge and make sure you're not making the good decision, but the strongest decision and the one, even for tactic reason. Even if you have to fast, it shouldn't be the opposite of watch far away.
You mean like a long-term vision?
Yeah, you can deal with daily constraint, but keep the right direction, and that's for everyone in the company, not only customer, but also for people working in the company to be able to identify to certain value to a vision. But if you make decision here and there and super fast and not thinking about what it means for tomorrow, at the end you don't know who you are as a company really fast. And
Lose your identity.
exactly, and we have a good example with Nike. They say, okay, we don't need market research anymore. We are the best ones. We are the one making the market. Yeah, but yeah, at the end, focusing only on social media and reducing their audience, and they are losing a lot of money right now, with decreasing market share in a lot of countries.
Something to think about. Something to think about. Now, let's bring this to communicating in English in the global workplace. For professionals who struggle to explain complex ideas in English, right? What's your best strategy? What would you say to make data clear, memorable, impactful, persuasive? Would you, if we were to draw a parallel between the two?
It works for English, but also for French. So when I share data, the idea is always to end with a strong so what? Why I'm sharing this data? What this one and not another one? So what's the one message I want to leave? So, and you probably heard that my English is not super strong, so I speak simply, but even in French, I use examples, so it brings life what I'm saying, and above all of this, build a narrative. So make sure that you share one information after the other, and it makes sense for your audience and them to complete their puzzle. And so you bring one piece, another one, another one. At the end, they have the full picture. So it's an opportunity for the audience to really embrace what you're talking about, and them in building their own story. So let's say speak simply, use example, and build a narrative. As a market researcher, also we are using PowerPoint as a support. So make sure to have clear design, not overwhelmed with a lot of tabs and figures here and there. You're trying to understand what you're supposed to watch instead of listening.
Yeah.
The presenter is saying. Currently, I'm working for the tech companies. Yeah, I think they're all around 25, 30 years old. They don't read at all. They don't like it. That's, be visual, and it works for the older as well.
Yeah, they're doing us a favor. Excellent. Thank you for that, right? So what? Speak simply and build a narrative. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Speak simply and slowly, maybe.
Yes. And slowly. Not be afraid to speak slowly. All right. Now, Marinette, this is the favorite part I have because it creates a connection with our listeners, our viewers. What's a business buzzword wish you could erase forever?
A single word, but quick and dirty.
I see why you dislike this one, but tell us.
No, you can be quick and robust. You can be quick and relevant. I shared a lot of example where we had timeline, tight budget, but we were not dirty, definitely not. And if you focus on quick and dirty just because it's just a tactical question, no, definitely.
Not necessary. Okay. What's a cultural oops moment that taught you something?
I used to work for a Dutch company. Dutch people have a really direct communication.
Mm-hmm.
As a French person, I'm used to wrap my words exactly. You see what I mean? I want to go there, but I will do a lot of like everyone. So, but Dutch people, it doesn't work. We were in a meeting for discussing about budget, about the target objective for the coming around.
Oh, yeah.
And I started my turn by saying sorry to soften the conversation, and because I was not completely new, but pretty new in the company, so not aware about everything. I started with sorry, explaining that, and I totally backfired. So that was terrible. Okay, but you're sorry, so you're not sure about what you're saying, and they were not listen anymore. I like this example also because I'm a listener of the Be Fluent podcast. Thank you, Neil. And I know that was some you've talked about in the podcast.
Yes.
Definitely don't do that.
No.
Don't start saying sorry. Don't apologize. I completely messed up.
Right? Right? Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. It's a lesson we learn, right? One word that colleagues use to describe you.
I think the main one, and yes, that was a learning for me. But when I've requested for some recommendation from colleagues or clients, reliable is the one. Maybe that's because I'm sometimes demanding or a bit picky, but yeah, it seems that reliable is the right one, because when I say I do that, I do that. So
You deliver. Reliable. I love it. Beautiful word. What's a favorite quote you have and why?
there is a lot of quotes I like, but I will say one which apply to my personal and professional lives is probably something like one step at a time, or Rome wasn't built in a day. In French, we have also petit à petit, l'oiseau fait son nid, but really something about progress, about discipline, about keep going. So one step at a time.
One step at a time. Keep going. Love it. This was great. Really, Marinette, thank you so much. If our listeners remember only one thing from this conversation, what should it be?
Remain on top of do market research.
Do your research, people.
I think the idea of discipline, even if you think you don't have time, you don't have budget, or you think you're not able to speak English properly. Okay, just discipline and just try one step at a time. Keep going, progress, and never give up.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Marinette, where can people connect with you and your work?
I'm on LinkedIn, so Marinette Dalbard, and I'm always working on different initiatives. So on LinkedIn, writing series of articles about different topics. Currently, it's about ROI for research. And I'm also exploring a new expert on demand service. So for a company who are not able to afford get research on their own, or management transition, or anyway. That's something I can support with, not only me, but with a collective of consultants as I am. And one I really like, and I hope it will be a great success. I'm working hard for that, and you do as well. So thank you, Nilda. So launching the WIRE Women in Research Geneva community and events. The first event will be beginning of November. So stay tuned to learn more. And the idea is to support and connect women in insight and data. So hopefully we'll have a great impact for building a better future.
Yes, I love the sound of that. Thank you, Marinette. You heard it here first. WIRE, research, discipline, reliability. Thank you, Marinette. All the best to you. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching the show. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oof, what a conversation that was. That's it for today. But if something sparked an idea, gave you clarity, or simply made you feel less alone in this global workplace jungle, remember, that's why you're here. That's why we are here connecting with you. Now, don't just sit there and let the insight just stagnate. Apply it, teach it to someone. And if you're ready to go deeper, book your strategy call with me today. Together, we'll turn these big ideas, these big strategies into action. Stop waiting, start speaking. And let's be bold. Let's be fluent together. I'm Leonilda Renaldo. It's been a pleasure. See you soon.